Here today talking about auction. Is auction the right process for you? A colleague of mine went to see a client the other night and we discussed the processes of both private treaty and auction. And look, at the end of the day, I think it boils down to what's right for you and what's in your comfort zone as well. Sometimes you have to push yourself, and I think there's a lot of pros and cons for both the auction method and the private treaty. However, at the moment, because the market is quite buoyant, there's a lot of buyer interest out there. There's a reduction of properties for sale on the market as well. That has been a sign that auctions are actually increasing the clearance rate. And in Queensland last week, that was 49%, which is pretty exciting for most of the market here. But does that mean that your property is an auction property? Not necessarily. I actually believe sometimes that properties go to auction because they're told that it's going to benefit the end sale result because of the competition, and that's true. With an auction property, you get a lot more competition, or you can have the competition that's direct in front of each other, and that can push up the end price. That doesn't necessarily mean if you don't have the bidders there, if you don't have the people there to bid, that you're actually going to have that competition, and it could actually turn out to be a bit of a flop. I've actually seen properties that go to auction, which I think would have got a better price had they sold via private treaty. And that's because some buyers are just not the type of people that want to go to auction, or they just aren't able to go to auction and therefore would prefer to buy via private treaty, if that makes sense. So is auctioning your property the right strategy for you? I think you need to talk to an expert in your area. I think it comes down to a few different factors. And the first primary factor for me is it a process that you're going to be comfortable with? You need to be comfortable with your agent. You need to be comfortable with the process of sale. The other factors that really determine the success of an auction property is the location of the property. Is your property in a location which typically sells, properties sell via auction? What is the type and style of your property? Is it a unique property? Is it going to have that high level of interest? And that's really important. If you don't have that level of interest, how are you going to create the competition on auction day to really generate that end sale result that you desire? And the last one is timing. Look, timing right now, it is a good time to sell your property by auction. We can see in Sydney and Melbourne, these are typical auction cities. The clearance rates are very, very high, and that's flowed on to Queensland as well. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to be the right method of sale for you right now if you're thinking of selling via auction. I hope that helps, guys. Cheers.